yellow peppers, and there's a part of our eye in the back of of your eye. There's a retina, of course, but there's a certain part of the retina that's called the macula lutea, and that actually means yellow spot in the eye. Very interesting. Okay, so basically there's a yellow spot in the back of your eye that is there as a rich source of antioxidants. So this yellow color that you're eating is going to build and strengthen that area of your eye, and it's going to basically protect your eye from the reactive oxygen species or really just UV damage. So of course you're taking in sunlight when you go outside, right? This is the beauty of nature and how we are just like enveloped in this beautiful Mother Earth. This is the beauty of it. So we go outside into the sun. Hopefully you're naked when you go outside into the sun. And you take in the sunlight into your eyes, and but your eye also is being bombarded with UVA, UVB, hopefully not UVC, definitely not. Okay, UVA and UVB. And there's some concern going on in the okay, so you're taking in UVA and UVB, and that's going to really be a lot of damage. It can be a lot of damage to your eye and to your retina. But we have created, the human body, the creator has put a high concentration of antioxidants in your macula lutea, which is that area in the back of your retina, and it has a yellow tint to it, and it's basically protecting you from that UV light. Isn't that beautiful? I just think that's just wonderful. And what we do, if we eat a variety of colors, especially yellow, then we're going to build that area to the point where we will never really have to worry about damage to our eyesight, especially, if it's directly from the sun. And people have, trained themselves to look directly at the sun. They tell you not to do that, but people have trained themselves, and hopefully they eat enough really colorful fruits and vegetables and everything to be able to withstand any kind of damage. But another interesting thing is if you're in a biology class, in college usually, they'll ask you to dissect a cow's eye, usually. Everybody's grossed out. And you can see, when you cut open the eye, you can see that the retina there, and you can see like a iridescent layer of cells, of tissue, that has all these different colors in it. It's kind of like you're looking at just an iridescent piece of paper. It has like blues and yellows and greens and oranges. And that's in the back of the cow's eye, and that's where the macula lutea is. I think that's just wonderful. Hope y'all think so too. I see a lot of people in the chat room talking so. Okay. All right, so let's move on to, we have a lot more with yellow, but I'm going to leave that alone for right now. Oh, well, really quickly, yellow onions, very, very, very high in the quercetin. Very, very high. We eat a lot of onions at the house, so definitely get your onions in. Even the onion skin. Now, I know you're not going to eat the onion skin, but you can make a tea out of it and pour it into like your broths and other stocks that you want to make for a soup or something like that. You'll get a lot of that quercetin in it. Okay, so let's go on to orange. Now, this is where you get into your carotenes and carotenoids. The carotenes are a subclass of the carotenoids. There's different types of carotenes. There's beta, alpha, delta carotenes. These are all, like I said, companions. So they all work together. You should not just be going to the store and buying beta carotene, okay? Because it might not work that well. Okay, but the fruits that are high are carrots, pumpkins, apricots, peaches, sweet potatoes. Okay, and you think about vitamin A. Vitamin A is also a companion of keratin as well. But vitamin A comes also directly from animal products. So if you get vitamin A directly, it's going to come from an animal product. If you get vitamin A indirectly from like carrots, for example, is coming to you indirectly, because first is a carotenoid that's going to turn into vitamin A in your body. So that's a little bit of a caveat there. Very important part of the keratins. Oh, someone said it already for me in the chat room. Curry and turmeric. Yes, we're talking about turmeric right now. Very, very high in orange. Turmeric is beautiful, and like I said, there's strong, very strong antioxidants, and there's some that are weak. Turmeric is one of the strongest antioxidants out there. Why? And this goes back to the organoleptics, okay, with our eyesight. Now, have you ever seen turmeric that has dulled in color? Think about the turmeric that you find in, that you buy in those little boxes of spices. They're still very, very, very reddish orange. And that indicates that they're very strong, and they're very strong antioxidants. Any antioxidant that after you take it from its original source, you grind it up, use it in your foods, and it loses its color, then that means that it's a weak antioxidant. Okay, so you should eat it more raw. But any antioxidant like turmeric or curry, if you can cook it, it can withstand heat. You can cook with it, you can boil it, you can leave it out in the sun, and it will be still bright orange. That means it's a very, very, very strong antioxidant. That's why it does so wonderful for cancer, anti-inflammatory. It is a beautiful, beautiful herb, plant, whatever. So turmeric is really good. It's also called curcumin, and there's several different types of curcuminoids. I studied a little bit on this in graduate school. There are certain curcuminoids. I think there's 3 or 4, and they all, like I said, work together to produce this curcumin that is really good for your body. What I studied with it was how it's important for osteoporosis and how it can basically regenerate bone cells. Okay, so this is really a strong herb that you should definitely get some of. Okay, so now let's get to red, and then we'll be wrapping this up. Let's see, is there anything I can leave out of red? Okay, red, of course, anything with red peppers. If you think about red peppers, if you're cooking them in a stir fry, they still hold on to that red color, so they are very strong antioxidants as well. Think about if you go to Mexico or anywhere in the Southwest, they have these red hot chili peppers, and they dry them, they hang them up as decoration and things like that, and they still are red after years. So that means that those peppers are very, very strong antioxidants. They're not going to break down, and that's part of the organoleptics, being able to recognize bright versus dull. Okay, and yeah, that's all I have to say. Okay, so let's see, purple, red, anything here? Okay, purple. We're getting into the chat room a little bit here now. So purple are very high, foods that are high in purple are very high in anthocyanins. So purple and red are the 2 different types of colors that are high in anthocyanins. And anthocyanins have the power to change color too. So if you have this experiment, I think she talked about in her lecture, was to get some, basically boil a little bit of cabbage, purple cabbage, and you can add it to like different pH, like apple juice has a certain pH, lime juice has a more acidic pH, and things like that, and see how that changes the color of the anthocyanin in that cabbage. So it's a little test you can do. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, currants. Let's see what else they put in the chat room. Anything else in the chat room about? Okay, elderberries, yes. Prune juice, cabbage, beets, figs. Oh, that's a good one, figs. I didn't think about that one. Strawberries, no. Concord grapes, pomegranates, cherries, blackberries, blueberries, plums, cranberries. All right, good. That is, all those things are wonderful to have in your diet on a regular basis. But remember, food combining. Don't put the blueberries in there with the salad. Yeah. Keep it clean. All right. Okay, so then another great thing that you can find, I know in Southern California, I don't think I've ever eaten one in South Carolina, is a blood orange. Now these oranges are very, very interesting and different because they are oranges. They have a high amount of vitamin C, high amount of carotenoids, carotenoids, but they also are high in anthocyanins because they have that really deep red flesh to them. Another thing that she said in her lecture was that if you have an orange, don't just throw away the rind of the orange after you've peeled it. Scrape out the white part, and we're going to get to white as a color in a second. But scrape out the white part of the orange and either eat it or put it into a smoothie or something because it's very high in vitamin C and also very high in something else. I have to look at my notes, but I think that was a good tip that she gave. Okay, but for red, red delicious apples, they are very, very high. If you in the fall and winter time, the red delicious apples usually come out. I guess that's their season. But a lot of times you get a bunch of apples like in a fruit basket, around this holiday season or whatever, and you get a bunch of these apples and nobody ever eats those apples. And then you have them like, it comes around March, April, May, you still got these apples and they are still red, are they not? That means that apple has a very high concentration of anthocyanins and it's a very high or very strong antioxidant, okay? Anything that's not going to break down in color is going to be strong, and that's what you need to eat. Hawthorn berries, purple and red onions, red wine, tart cherry juice. Okay, those are all really good red fruits and vegetables. Okay, bilberries are very good. They're basically purple. We talked about bilberries before and how they're really good for night vision and for protecting you against any type of vision problem. Macular degeneration, helping with night vision, helping peripheral vision, helps you also with all the capillaries in your eye, capillaries in your system. Bilberry is really good. That's why it's so expensive. And let's see what else. Plums, people already talked about that. Grapes. Eggplant. Eggplant is really good as well. And if you cook eggplant, you'll see that color is still retained. Beets. Okay. Alright, so we talked about blackish, bluish, purplish colors. Now let's talk really quickly about the color white. And yes, it is a color too. So think about some white colors or some white foods as well. We have coconuts. And she made a good point that a lot of fruits in the tropics are white. If you think about it, like coconut, and we just opened up the soursop. We got a soursop from the Mexican grocery store, Cardenas, and it's all white inside, And the reason being for something like that, the evolution or the whatever you want to call it, the creator producing white colored fruits in the tropics is because that they're very high in omega-3 fatty acids or omega-6 fatty acids, and all of these unsaturated fatty acids are much more strong and much more resilient to a very humid or very hot or a lot of sun, and those are the types of conditions that they grow in the tropics. It's always sunny. And so they're much more resistant to that, and that's why those plants live in that area, and they're very good.